feel transitions are an opportunity to encounter God in a new way.
Of course.
In a fresh way.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you look at the major encounters, transitioning was happening. Saul was going to advance the persecution of the church from Jerusalem even unto Damascus. That was a transition for him. Had he been successful, the persecution would have become now worldwide. It indeed became worldwide later, but it would have begun earlier than the way God had anticipated. But God used that. Joseph was being moved from Canaan to Egypt as a slave. He was in transition from being a son to a slave. But what I love about how God works is He can turn such a bad situation
for His good.
For His good.
Same case to Ruth.
Yeah, look at Ruth.
Left Moab for Canaan.
Exactly.
For a better deal.
Exactly. So when I look at the fear of missing out, guys, whoever is suffering from that, you're like, oh my God, but you don't know, Joyfuls, you don't know. I don't know how these guys are going to run or something. Let me tell you something. They will run. They will. Yes, you might have had an impact. Be grateful to God for what you're able to do. And move on.
You need to outgrow spaces.
Yeah, just move on. But you don't know about this Chama. It's so special to me. I'm the founder. I'm done with the first few meetings were in my house. We were able to invest. Ni sawa, sikatai. But if God is calling you to get out, just get out. Imagine get out. Nakuna ubaya. Just get out. I remember this thing held me, by the way. You see, when I was now born again, now that year, as I was preparing to get born again in August, I was a church leader where I was. And in my eyes, and in the eyes of those around me, those who was leading, as good as any other one could be. So someone telling me to leave, nilikuwa naona ugumu. Kwanza, you can imagine like the achievements that I think I was the first to do a number of things, so I was feeling really good about myself. And Paul said, I will not boast of my achievements. If I am to boast, I will boast of my weaknesses and of the Lord. And so when I look at that, I'm like, I wish I had done that, but I didn't know. At the time I didn't know. So when I look back, that's one of the fears that I had, like, how will now people treat me?
And I actually feel whenever you're transiting, you should always remember the God of then is the same God of the transition you are in.
I'm telling you.
So you have that peace and confidence.
I'm telling you. Yeah, so I think for that one, for the fear of missing out, the moment you realize God can be whatever it is you feel you'll miss out, it's going to give you a satisfaction.
That's for sure.
And for them who are like, yeah, Joy, I hear you, but you don't know about this relationship. I've dated this girl for like 3 years. I dated this guy for 3 years. We were on course to getting married, then he just dumped me all of a sudden. And God, of course, can't be a man. True. God can't be a man, but He can use a man. You just find someone is going to come into that space and really fill that gap that you feel has been left. Now, disclaimer, there is no gap that God cannot fill, and the only true feeling is through Jesus Christ. Let me just tell you the truth. Even if you get that job, you get that, even if you're transiting to that new job, to that new relationship, to that new company, to that new business idea, so long as you don't have Jesus, then whatever people look for in terms of fulfillment, they won't get it. It's only through Christ that now you get a peace at heart. And
direction and clarity.
And clarity. Because peace takes 2 dimensions. There's the peace with God, which is what actually is ailing all humanity who have not known God, because that's what men are desiring in their hearts. They are burning for a connection with the divine because it is in their nature. But since they don't have that, they are forever in turmoil within themselves because they don't have peace with God. Then the second level is the peace of God, which now once you are in God and once you're connected to God and have the peace with God, then you can take the next step of allowing God now to speak shalom over, which is peace,
Yeah.
over every other area in your life. So when I look at the fear of missing out, I think that's how I could help one of our viewers who's going through that.
And I also have another suggestion. Is this book Jeremiah has written. It's called The Battle of the Mind. It helps shed some light on how sometimes things usually happen in our minds, that back and forth, want to transit, but you're thinking a little bit too much about it, and you end up missing on an opportunity that was God ordained. But when you read that book, at least you understand how to discern the good thoughts and the not so good thoughts. You can have clarity in times of transition, and you can know how the Lord speaks and how other voices speak. Yeah,
that is very true. And actually, just to jump in what you said, you mentioned the mind. I know the first point you said was the mind can create defense mechanisms, maybe because of what happened to you in the past. Maybe you went through a bad deal and you didn't heal, so now trauma is speaking and all those. But another thing, I think, that makes people comfortable, that I think about is you are so attached to that level where you don't want to let go.
Attachment style.
Yeah, to receive more.
I think it's a normal thing for humans. You get something, sometimes you hold on too tight to it. It's like you're not sure, especially if you have trust issues, because it's like you're not assured for the next thing you're going to have.
It's true.
So you hold on to it as though there's no tomorrow, and sometimes the Lord can be, that's even not the thing I want to give you. I have a better plan for you. Just bring that one. And sometimes you have to submit the other one for you to be given the other one. Because sometimes it's like we want to have this one and still get to have the other one. But you have to let go so that you can let God.
That statement, let God and let God, it has really been in my mind the past couple of days and weeks. Because when you look at it, someone can be so attached to something. I don't know if you remember the story of the widow of Zarephath in 1 Kings 17. Yeah, 17. Elijah was told by God, go to Zarephath, I've commanded a widow to supply you food. So our carnal minds will tell us, but Elijah, when he gets there, he's going to find,
he's gonna do a miracle.
Feast.
No,
they were expecting feast. He was expecting at least there'll be bread, there'll be water, just like what I was having in the desert. Now they'll find bread, freshly baked bread, nice water from a place. I'll be good. But remember, it was still famine time. So as much as Elijah was experiencing a different ecosystem, now he comes back to the ecosystem of everyone else, and he finds this widow. This widow has her last meal, literally her last meal.
And I don't know why. Okay, maybe you can tell me, is it easier to let go when you have plenty or a little? Because
I think
is it easy when you have billions to give out some or some millions, or when you're having your last 1,000 shillings to bankruptcy?
Why? Guys, what do you think?
Because I was thinking about that. I was like, is it easier to let go when you have a lot or when you have a little? I tend to feel when you have a little, it's when it gets harder. Because you're thinking from a poverty mentality, like, I don't have, I'm not sure.
I know, right? And actually, that's what I'm saying, guys. You're welcome to speak to us. We'll go down in the comments, say, if you are that widow in 1 Kings 17, would you have done like what? And we will listen, we'll read, we will listen, we will not judge.
We don't judge.
So you won't be reprimanded or deleted. Your comments are welcome.